A Case of Distrust is a narrative-driven murder mystery game heavily inspired by the works of noir mystery writers Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett. Its unique twist on the noir mystery genre, pulpy writing, and transfixing presentation makes this one of the best detective stories in gaming. A Case of Distrust is a hard-boiled mystery piece of interactive fiction in which you play PC Malone, a female detective in 1924 San Francisco. Any fans of classic murder mystery fare can tell you that's a pretty unique twist. Not the time period or the setting, but playing as a woman detective. Women are normally relegated to damsels in distress or backstabbing harlots in this particular genre, so to see a woman doing everything you'd expect a man to do in a noir story, drinking, hating life, complaining about the police force, and looking sadly into the middle distance during the rain is instantly engaging. Once you add the other factors that come with that into the equation, then it gets really interesting. Nobody respects you simply because you're a woman. You can't really fight with your strength, so you have to use brains. Malone was once a police officer herself, but left after repeatedly being harassed and looked down upon to start her own private detective business. Why exactly she started that business is up to you and your dialogue options, but suffice to say, there's a dead relative in there and it's kind of eating her up. There's not a whole lot to explain in terms of gameplay. This could technically be classified as a visual novel, but it's more akin to 80 Days than any Japanese anime-inspired dating sim. What makes the presentation so unique is how much work has clearly gone into it. Text appears at certain places across the screen, a single bold color highlights every scene, animations play out across silhouettes of characters and objects. It is just gorgeous. In terms of presentation alone, A Case of Distrust is unlike any other game I've ever seen before. It's so bold, so colorful, and so vivid, it adds a lot to the atmosphere. Coupled with the music, you can practically slice the atmosphere with a knife, assuming you can stomach the smell of old cigarettes, whiskey, cheap cologne, and disappointment from its cast of characters. A Case of Distrust won't be the most emotionally challenged game you've ever played, but it finds a niche for itself and makes it home. Good hard-boiled detective stories are always about compelling characters and a bleak atmosphere. This game delivers both of those in spades. Every character from PC Malone herself, to her BFF bartender Frankie, to the shady gangster Connor Green, are all instantly compelling. You really do feel like Malone at times, as you interact with people you've never met before, but it feels like you've known them your whole life. These characters are also woven nicely into the gameplay, as Frankie was a friend of your uncle, another former cop. This allows Frankie to serve as an organic in-game hint giver whenever you get stuck or lost. His hints can sometimes be a little too obvious, but it's always fun seeing Malone and Frankie bounce ideas off one another. As solid as the presentation is, there just isn't much to offer in the gameplay department. Searching environments for clues boils down to nothing more than dragging your mouse cursor around the screen, waiting until you see an object highlighted, and then clicking it. Malone will say something about the object, and will automatically be added to your notes so you can ask suspects about it. When questioning a suspect, you have to access your notebook, which contains your goals, any statements said by other characters, and any physical clues you found by the aforementioned method of moving your cursor around environments. You have to decide which of those items is most relevant to that suspect and ask them about it. Some of what you can ask about is useless, and if you pick wrong, you'll just get a generic, "I don't know how that's useful" kind of response. Other things you can ask will contribute to the backstory of their characterizations, nice little asides that you can chat about, things like that. But the main thing you're looking for is what will drive the investigation forward. The thing is, questioning these suspects is exactly the same as finding clues. You can ask suspects anything, as many times as you want, and without any kind of time limit. You can also leave a conversation and go back to that suspect again to ask them about any new stuff you found, whenever you want, again without any inhibitors. So if you don't really know what you should be asking about, there's nothing stopping you from asking a suspect about literally every single thing in your notebook, which is automatically filled in so you can't miss anything, by the way, until you stumble upon the right question. This means that the gameplay is little more than a distraction. There's no challenge here whatsoever, and you never feel like you're in control of events. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, in the Case of Distrust, It adds a lot to the game. A Case of Distrust isn't your story, it's the story of PC Malone. By not letting the player do all that much, it keeps the focus on her and her investigation. This is a tight, lean game, and it doesn't want or need itself getting bogged down in complicated plot lines that the player can change or screw up, and it doesn't need or benefit from the player messing up investigations by missing clues or angering a suspect to the point where they won't talk to you anymore. Now, because of that, A Case of Distrust isn't for everyone. The story is excellent and perfectly told, coupled with the art, animation, and music. And that art and music really is unlike anything I've seen in a game before. But I was also kind of bored with some of the interrogation and finding clues. You'll notice I said bored there, not frustrated or angry or any other simile relating to rage, even though what I just described sounds like it would be just that. It speaks volumes of how tight a grip A Case of Distrust narrative and presentation had on me that I never got mad at it, I just wanted to keep playing. Final score? 4 out of 5. A Case of Distrust has 2018 off to a great start for indie gaming. It tells a rich, compelling story with engaging characters and an engrossing atmosphere, aided by fantastic music and art. The gameplay is lacking, but the focus is on the story, and it's so damn good you probably won't even notice. Support us on patreon.com/Cliqist for more videos just like this, or visit us at Cliqist.com for all the latest news, reviews, investigations, interviews, and opinion pieces on indie gaming. Thank you.